Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Christmas Special Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Now we are joined by Paul. How you doing, Paul? Can you hear me?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, this is a impromptu live stream, as I wasn't necessarily intending to do a live stream, but my wife encouraged me to, and I was like, oh yeah, it'd be nice, we'll have the kids around. But she's actually cleared the kids out, so they won't be full of kids jumping for joy with new presents, although that is the sentiment of why maybe why I was talked into doing this by my wife. But it's just a nice little thing to do, innit? Wish all the people in the live stream a happy Christmas. Tell them how grateful I am to be me, having all of the people that are here, wishing them happy Christmas. How about you? You had a good day, Paul?
Yeah, great day so far. A couple of nice presents, and I'm building my new computer, so it'll be good as well as stressful at the same time.
All I've got to build is Lego today. I'm very pleased with that too. That said, I haven't been asked that much. No nags to build this, that, and the other. I've just watched them erect things in front of me, and it's like wonderful, wonderful. I thought I'd be nagged left, right, and centre to build Lego sets, and I haven't. I've got an entire advent calendar full of Lego, and being like 40, how old am I? 43. I'm not that into building Lego anymore, so I didn't really do it, but I probably will throughout today after this short-ish live stream. I say shortish. There's a show that I have actually scheduled. That's a lot of S's. That's coming out at about 2 o'clock, the usual time. So, this happened to be the time that the kids are the most satisfied with their toys that they've opened and such like. So it makes sense to wish everyone a happy Christmas right about now, and say more than anything hello to everyone in the chat. So I'm going to go and do that now. Unless there's something specific. Anyone you want to shout out, Paul, as you are live to the. Say live to the nation, live to the YouTube audience.
Yep, Merry Christmas, everyone. And Michael Khan's in there. So, hello, Michael.
Indeedy, good to see you, Michael. He says Merry Christmas, FED chat. Yeah, I'm gonna be chatting along to you as well. There's probably going to be a pretty limited participation from the general Flat Earth Debate panel. Although I have done it like a normal show to make everyone feel comfortable. So Paul's here on the old G Plus panel, and I have popped into the science versus pseudoscience Discord server. So if anybody does fancy a Christmas debate, they can have one. But whether or not they do, we'll see. Who else we got in there? Hey, Arwin, good to see you. Paula, good to see you also. Happy Christmas to you both. Paula sent me a donation just out of the blue. I was like, wow, Paul sent me this.
Oh yeah, well, see, with the new Ko-fi link, Nathan, you can just use a credit card, and the only trouble that Paul had is she doesn't have a PayPal account, so that just facilitated the transaction there. It's handy.
Oh wow, okay. So I'll fill the audience in. So probably a little bit distasteful on Christmas to talk about e-begging. Oh, look, we got a guest. It's the Hammer, I think. Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Matthew.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Paul.
That's just Bill on Discord and elsewhere.
How you doing, Just Bill?
Oh, doing just fine. We had a good night last night. My daughter, she's 2 years old. I gave her a one of those electric four-wheelers, and she loved it. But it's back to work today, man.
Back to work? What do you mean back to work?
Yeah, I'm working.
Working? Oh.
Yeah.
When I went to church today, the minister said words to the effect of, our prayers go out to all of those who are working today and all of those who are looking for work. End statement. I was like, oh, okay. So what about the people who kind of work like this now? Like, okay, do the prayers not go out to me? Just those who are working and those who are looking for work. So if you're looking for work at the moment, our prayers go out to you. Well, at least according to my minister.
That's a good prayer to have, honestly.
Yeah, well, it's not. We go to church probably once a year. This is the only time we go to church, and there's a bit of a discussion about whether or not we'll even go then, because it's, you know, it's a bit of an ordeal with two small children. But I'm like, no, I want them to have that experience to a certain degree. And if it wasn't a church, if there was a, I don't know, a temple up the road, as I said to my wife, I was like, I don't particularly care what spiritual entrance they have into the world, as long as they have one. You know, I wouldn't care if it was Buddhist, Sikh, Muslim. I wouldn't really care. As long as they welcomed us. Obviously, if they're like, get lost, then that's not really a good entrance into some sort of spiritual realm for a 7-year-old. But I don't know.
I mean, the proper name for the building would be a temple, because a church is when 2 or more people gather in his name.
Indeedy. Well, what I mean by that is, in various times in my life, I've been into various different religious buildings, temples, or whatever. And in many instances, I'm the only white guy there, for example. But it doesn't make any difference to how welcoming they are. They're always very, very welcoming. And you get the typical, in this case today, with it being a Christian ceremony, you know, the spiritual experience that you're hoping in this case to pass on to your kids. And I took my youngest to show the organ, so you can imagine what I'm interested in the church. I'm like, look how this organ was, massive, isn't it? Wow, can you hear it? Can you feel it shaking you? This is what I'm telling to Clover. And then my wife went and took communion. I'm like, I didn't even know you were a Christian. She was like, well, I'm not, but I just wanted to get Eleanor involved and get her to do the blessing. I was like, oh, good. Because that's kind of the whole point, right? So that they experience the singing and the praising of the birth of Jesus, although obviously many would put that into contention in terms of the date. But it doesn't matter. It's the sentiment and the religious aspect, which I thoroughly enjoyed. If it's just about the presents, you give your kids the wrong impression about what it is. If you overwhelm them with, well, it was Saturnalia and it's the pagans, and again, you kind of rob them of the the magic of what Christmas should be. So it's striking a balance between, well, this does have a reason. There's a reason we call it Christmas. And yes, we imagine that Santa Claus will come down the chimney that we don't have because we live in an apartment. So it's all about balance, isn't it? But I don't know, that's partially why I wanted to have this live stream, to talk about things like that, which you don't tend to get the opportunity to talk about on a live stream. At least unforgivable because it's flat earth debate, but on Christmas people will let you off when you're talking about your kids being a baby boy, telling them about their spiritual introductions to the world. You got kids, just
well? Yes, I have 5 children.
Holy wow. 5. That's a
5
lot.
children, 1 baby mama. But we read last night. We opened all their gifts and everything, and I read Mark and Matthew and Luke. So the birth of Christ and that. It was a pretty good time.
Good stuff. Lots of presents opening, lots of joy. My youngest daughter took it upon herself to tell a joke to the minister when they were supposed to be, just showing the toys that they got, just to get him involved. She asked the minister, why did the banana go to the doctor? And they're full on. It's like most churches, although it shouldn't be shocking to me, but they're live streaming it. I'm like, okay. But then you think, okay, since COVID, they've obviously seen a massive decline in people's attendance, and they've obviously mitigated for that by live streaming. So you're in the church and you're like, this isn't how it was last time I came here, which is probably last Christmas or the Chris Dingle or whatever. But there's all monitors everywhere with like a tech guy, I think it was a tech girl, sat monitoring these 3 monitors, and then the minister had a monitor or 2 next to him as well. I'm like, man, this is weird, But I say that because suddenly my youngest daughter's telling a banana joke to a minister in a church broadcast. You're like, oh God.
Well, what was the punchline?
Well, she got it wrong intentionally. So although she's 4, she knows the joke because her and her sister have told it to each other so many times, which is, why did the banana go to the doctor? Now, amongst themselves, they've told us this joke, I kid you not, in excess of 100 times, because he wasn't peeling well. But because that's kind of lost its sass as a joke, right, they now take it into their humour, which is to take it to a slightly more absurd place to keep it humorous, something that's non sequitur normally. But in this case, I was like, please God, don't say something like because he had a big bum or something, But she said because he wasn't. What was it she said, hun? Because he wasn't banana well. In other words, it seemed like she just mucked up the punchline in a cute way, which got a good laugh.
That's funny.
It certainly got a laugh because everyone in the audience is expecting this little toddler to come out with because he wasn't peeling well, and everyone goes, oh, because no one's going to laugh at that. But mucking up the punchline is actually a lot more funny. And it was.
Right. She's a natural.
Not at all. She's just total, like both of them. They're very well adjusted in that regard, very well socialised. So they've got no qualms about strolling straight up to a mic in front of a camera that's clearly pointing straight at her and telling a joke for an audience of a congregation that's fairly packed because it's Christmas Day. No qualms whatsoever. But both of them are just, we've taught them to be reasonably well socialised. So. Not necessarily Christian either. I don't want to give off the wrong impression because we've talked about this. It's Christmas Day, therefore we have gone to church. But for the Christian viewers out there, who go, I didn't know Nathan was a Christian. Well, if by the standards of Christianity and Christians that come here, you would all say I'm not. So let's just leave it at that. Don't want to give anybody the wrong impression.
Well, but there are 5 things you have to accept, and Matthew can tell you better than I can.
What's that?
Yeah. Oh, well, you have to believe the Lord Jesus Christ came in the flesh. He was born of a virgin. He died.
No. No, you accept Jesus Christ into your heart. That's it.
Well, to be identified as a Christian, over the centuries, these 5 things all Christians in all places have believed.
I thought the New Testament dealt with this. That's the whole point of the crucifixion.
Well, if it's a Jesus other than the one that was born of a virgin, God in the flesh, then you're believing in you're not believing in the God of the Gospels or the Christ of the Gospels.
I have no idea how to even begin to discuss this subject, hence me saying by the standards of the Christians and Christianity that frequent this particular server and platform, and indeed Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, I've got no knowledge beyond my very basic Christian upbringing. Do you know what I mean? That's
Sure.
the word. I'm not a devout Christian.
Yeah, I'm not trying to debate about it. I'm just, yeah.
No, hopefully Paula will chip in, but that's my understanding as well, Nathan. There are 5 main things. It's just so you get the right context of what Jesus you're talking about. It's like Matthew says, you have to accept that he is the one from the Gospels, and you can't make your own one up and claim that he's Jesus. Otherwise, you're not Christian. I think that's all he's saying.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was nice to celebrate Jesus' birth on Christmas Day in my Christmas jumper with my 2 beautiful children and my beautiful wife. It was lovely.
Cool, bud.
Yeah. Anyway, let's say hello to a few more people in the chat. Who else we got in there? Let's scroll all the way back up. Eleanor, do you want to show your... No, that's the whole point of me doing this stream, Eleanor. If you want to come on camera, you can. Come here. You want to show the audience what you've got from Santa, do you? Hold on, where's my camera button? There it is. Am I on camera now? No, my screen's flashed off. There we go. Come a bit closer, Goofy.
Okay.
Right, there you go.
Wow.
This is... Right, tell him who it is.
It's Lord Ralph.
Lord Ralph. Did you show that to the minister?
Yeah.
What did the minister say?
I can't remember.
You can't remember? Okay, fair enough. There you go. Have you had a nice Christmas?
Yes.
Jolly good.
Merry Christmas, Eleanor.
Christmas.
Merry
If you could
Christmas.
hear her. She was scampering off as she said that. She said Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, who else we got in the chat? Uncommon Sense AUS. Good to have you. Happy Christmas to you. Truth Matters, nice to see you as well. I'm going to say hello to absolutely everyone in the chat in case you're wondering, so don't typically do this, but it's Christmas, so why not? Geo Ptolemy, good morning, Merry Christmas to you. Missed anybody? Not that many chats. John, is it Voyage? John Voyage? Hello, good to have you. Price of Adam, nice to see you. Happy Christmas to you. Betty Boots, thanks for being here. Hope you're having a nice Christmas, all of you in the chat. Paul's already on the panel, so I won't say hello to you, Paul. Tevlex, nice to see you. Fiber Oats, nice to see you also. There is a link if you did want to join. Not that I'm suggesting you have to. but just so it is formatted as a typical show would be, you can join on either G Plus or what is it, the Discord server. I mean, as you can probably see me flashing it. Oh yeah, I've got it on screen. So yeah, in case you
I
didn't
would
have
have tagged everyone in on the server, Nathan, but I don't have permission to do that. So unfortunately, I can't.
Oh well, there's no pressure. There's you and just Billy, so we'll have a little natter about Christmas, and then I'll encourage people to go and watch a video that I've spent quite a significant amount of time editing.
I mean, I can tag everyone in on my server, but I don't know if anyone will pop in. I've got 42 people now, which is good.
Oh wow, well that's fantastic. Well, there's going to be some.
Pretty much all of the regulars from Flat Earth Debate, really.
Cool. Oh, that's
I've got
wonderful.
CJ from 24/7 in there as a moderator, and he's helping me with the Discord back office stuff because he knows about the developer mode and things like that. So he's been very helpful. So thank you to CJ, also known as Curve Function on 24/7. Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, there's going to be some changes over the next year, hopefully. I mean, what I've been suggesting to you on Skype is I'll get it done in the next couple of days, but having actually looked at it now, it's probably going to take me a little bit longer to massage my way in one of those with each of the things one at a time.
What we
But yeah,
really
hopefully
need
we'll.
is Eli, because he's a senior mod on 24/7, and he may have the permissions to create a category and negotiate with CJ and Indio on what's best for them. You know, because we want both parties to be happy with it, don't we?
Yeah, that's it. So what you're saying is I should perhaps liaise with Eli to work out a little space.
He
that I can
outranks
use.
QE, so he's a top guy over there.
Cool. Yeah, he's always got the stories of what he's been discussing. It should have occurred to me earlier.
Yeah, I sent him a message, but you won't be surprised to know that he doesn't answer them, pretty much like the rest of the panel.
Yeah, I'm useless. It's just because I'm so overwhelmed with messages from about a bazillion different platforms, and yeah, I've got my routine to go through them. I actually prioritize YouTube comments, believe it or not. They're one of the first things I do each day before getting to my, Skype messages or emails, some of which I don't even get to at all. But there we go. But I will read every YouTube message, and there's a whole bunch of them that come in daily. Yeah, I will. I'll go through them all. Most of the time, I'll respond to them. But yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how difficult it is to set up an OBS so you get like a little push notification when someone pays you on Ko-fi. Because what I've noticed with some streams is when they get like a $5 donation, that comes up like a super chat.
Okay.
And then they call it out like a super chat.
Yeah, that'd be good. In other words, there's a facility for it to pop up via OBS, so it comes onto the stream and says, "Oh, thank you for contributing via Ko-fi or whatever it's called."
You just have to pick the right browser to have Ko-fi open in, and then make sure you have push notifications on that one. The permissions for it. And I think you just have to maybe have a window open for that, so then that shows up. I'm not really sure how OBS works though. I have not had a proper look at it yet.
Gotcha. So up until now, this is again a bit crass, but my facilitation of e-begging has been via things like PayPal and obviously the super chats and thanks that YouTube lays out. And that, as Paul's just pointed out, or did at the beginning of the pre-show or in the beginning of the live show, I forget which, means that people can't support me if they've just got a credit card. So Paul, good that he is with things like this, has actually sorted it out for me and just set up his own account to the point where I could just follow what he'd done and set up my own. So again, this week I'll probably incorporate that, or when the shows resume, I'll incorporate that as a link and figure it into my my little spiel that I say at the beginning of each show. But it just means there may, as it was shown by Paula almost immediately, people who just don't want to use PayPal, which is fair enough. And if that can be the case, and it pops something up on screen when they do, the other thing is some people don't want to support YouTube, like they don't want to give you a super chat. I noticed that in our ones.
Google more importantly, because they take 30%, and I think when Flatsoid they take 45% from him.
Wow. I mean, I'm just
the other
grateful.
thing I want to do while you're live, Nathan, is just enable memberships on Ko-fi, and then you could have that as an alternative to Patreon and even Google. What people do is that they set it up so the members-only links go in a special playlist that's restricted, and then you just type the link in for all of your subscribers onto Ko-fi.
I see.
So you can do it like that because they have like a private playlist, and then you could move some of the memberships from Google to Ko-fi then, because you get more of the money. Again, I suppose they take 30%, do they, Google?
Yeah, I don't really want to mess with that. I like that. Even if they were charging me 40%, I don't think I mean, obviously I'd care, but it's more the fact that I like the way that there is a direct interaction for the members. So at the moment, as you can probably see, there's Paula and Arwin and Michael and various others that are in there that have got membership status, and they get their little badge on the YouTube chat. And for me, that's got a lot of value for the person that's actually purchasing it, as in they elevate themselves above the people in the chat if you're just a cursory chatter as a regular.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So I even though it would, yes, it's more expensive for me, or it takes more of the money away from me. It's like, well, the only reason, in my view, people would want to part with their cash to do it is so that they've got an elevated interaction with the chat, because then they're more part of the show when they're not necessarily on the panel or anything. And some people are more prepared to just pay a dollar amount to achieve that. And if I get some of that, I'm grateful to get it, if you know what I mean. Because they could just think of it this way: YouTube could just turn that facility on and give me nothing. If you use YouTube, you can become a member.
Yeah.
Pick which channels you want. £5, you get to pick 5 channels that you're membered to. Content provider gets nothing, but you get to be a badge member in whatever channel.
And, what was mentioned then was maybe in place of Patreon then, so you've got a bit more of a hub for your members, because if you can set it so people can send you direct messages on Ko-fi, so you can make a slightly higher level so people can send you messages directly, if you want, and then you can call them out on the show when people subscribe. I've set up mine just to show you how it works.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's got lots of
just like Patreon.
Exactly, it's got lots of things that could replace other things in it. So as I get more familiar with it, there's a good chance that I may.
Yeah, you can set a goal as well, so like a give, send, go, and you can put that on your page. So it's all in one.
Yeah, that's the other thing I liked about it. It's one of those where it might not even necessarily get an automatic shout out on the show as it's starting to become incorporated, and then it'll get shouted out more and more as it's more and more useful. And then if I do any campaigns, it's just it's still there as a reference. So someone might go along to it because they don't want to use PayPal, and then they go, oh, he's got a campaign running for whatever piece of crap equipment's broken that day, and go, oh, well, I'll support him via that, etc. But it's always in one place with a unique link to me. But it's always going to be the same, even if I'm having a campaign. So it's not like every time I chop and change between Give, Send, Go and GoFundMe or whatever it is I'm using, and then you've got a different thing for Patreon. It might be they all get wrapped up in one thing, which is a lot tidier and sounds better when you just, got less of a list of things to shout out. But aside from the YouTube,
Adam and Steve, who's joined in Discord.
Yes, indeed.
Can we get a mic check?
Can you hear us in Discord? Might as well do a quick. I haven't actually sound checked Discord. Can you hear us, Steve? Steve.
Yeah. I'm here.
Happy Christmas to
you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, happy Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to all you guys.
Indeedy.
Yeah.
We're going
to be live for about another 25 minutes, and then what I'm going to do is everybody who's watching live, I'll be posting a link to the edited video that goes out too. So even if I hadn't managed to do this live stream, my wife's she was the one who encouraged me to do this, actually, which is very unlike her. But there we go. She was like, yeah, do a live stream. People really appreciate it on Christmas Day. I'm like, oh, fair enough. Okay, that was the last thing I was expecting you to suggest, but I think she's probably right.
Yeah, I thought, good idea. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's all it's for. But from a selfish videography point of view, on YouTube hat on and all that, I will still definitely encourage people to go to my edited video that I've made, because it took me ages to make it.
Yeah. I saw you put out a couple of them, or one at least.
Yeah, I like to have lots of stuff. Lots of other videographers do it, and it is literally just because of that. It's like it's the festive season, and presumably that's because people will be away from work, therefore have more time on their hands, that people put more material out over Christmas. So like, okay, well, can't beat them, join them, why not? I'll get a few edited videos ready to go over the Christmas period and then just release them, staggered. I'll just tell you about today's though, because it's a lot of you who are talking with me now will have actually maybe taken part of this, because you may have been there, which was the neural surgeon guy. Do you remember?
Yes.
What
a couple days ago.
Yeah, a few days ago, right? Well, what I did was I hacked it into I did a proper job. So I hacked it into a unique trailer, which is 3 minutes long, and then took the main key points. This is based on tips videos I've been watching about making videos more interesting or more digestible or getting better watch time. And taken those points and put them at the beginning of the video. So in other words, if you were to just come along and you just watch the first 5 minutes because you're that type of watcher, which is fine, you're still going to get the main points if you watch just the first 5 minutes. Then there's the intro, like the intro music, and then I've slapped on the unedited full debate at the end, and then an outro, obviously. But the point is that it's a mix between an edited video and the full uncut video. So where in place of a full uncut video, so where I'd typically just take the whole debate, put an intro and outro on it, and chuck it out like that, maybe with 5 or 10 seconds right at the beginning before the intro. In this case, based on advice from, like I say, we know how to make your YouTube channel grow. They say, well, make sure your videos are as engaging as possible and take the main points and stick it right at the beginning where that 5 minutes is so important for that guy, because he might then watch for 10. Yeah? So that's what I've done. So the main chunks of the points, if you're, I don't want to say lazy YouTube watcher, you're just a bit more carefree with your viewing habits. You'll get your 5 minutes and you'll hear all the main points and the embarrassing defeat of claiming that by way of a lie that you've seen the moon buggy on the moon, which this guy did. So yeah, check that out. It's called NASA No Earth is Flat. And the reason it's called NASA No Earth is Flat is because that was his reference. So he specifically referenced NASA and said, this is how I know NASA would tell me in the future that Earth's ball-shaped if I called them up a nest. We're like, well, without appealing to the future, here's NASA documentation that say Earth is non-rotating stationary flat. Here it is. And it's in regards to how you deal with it when you're flying over it. Flat, as we all know. But there we go. Check it out. It comes out in about 40 minutes. No, 20 minutes. Oh, wow. We've been longer than I thought. Time flies when you're having fun.
I like that idea. You put the cliff notes ahead of the novel. That way, yeah, it could be a short video for people and they still get the main point.
Well, it kind of goes against my every fiber as an editor, right? Because when you're producing the video, you want it to sort of play out like a story, like a novel, beginning, middle, and end. That's how logically it makes sense to me. So to say, okay, well, about the 1/3 point in your novel, if you're viewing it like that, there's a really exciting bit. Just take that exciting bit and put it right at the beginning. And then about halfway through, there's another exciting bit. Just take that bit and put that right at the beginning. And you're like, this kind of goes against how I think it should be done. But there we go. But that's what I've done. So we'll see if that. I mean, it's got a pretty clickbaity title. Let's not beat around the bush about it. NASA No Earth is Flat. Yeah, they do. It's not clickbaity at all. I don't know why I've said that, actually. It's clickbaity because it's encouraging people to click. But you're not going to get deprived of a NASA proof in that when you see a document headed NASA and describing Earth as non-rotating, stationary and flat when dealing with it as a pilot flying over it.
Oh, you have a beautiful mind, Nathan.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully that video does well. Like I say, I'll encourage everyone who's watching to go that way when we're done. Hopefully someone from the mod team will dig out a link and post it. If not, I will, before we go off the air today. But yeah, we're only here to wish you all a happy Christmas if you're in the live chat. So happy Christmas to you all. It's good to see your shining bright faces. Got Jean in there as well. Hey, Jean. Anybody I did miss? Any new participants that I need to say happy Christmas to? Not. Anybody got any nice festive Christmas dinner plans?
Gonna go to. We celebrated Christmas last night. Today we're going to the in-laws, and we'll have a good time over there. And I'm gonna make it to my dad's as well. So
Okay.
It should be Yule tidings all day after work.
We have our Christmas dinner now. This is why my wife said, well, if you can do a live stream, you'll be out of my hair for an hour while I'm cooking. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So I'm looking forward to Christmas dinner. I'm starving. Gonna be great. Take it everybody has the same Christmas dinner everywhere: roast potatoes, turkey, Yorkshire puddings, toad in the hole. No, it's common everywhere, right?
I suppose my sister made some crawfish dip. It's really a hit, man. Some cheesy crawfish dip. I really like it on Christmas. But that's just the culture, right? We're from New Orleans, and seafood's just a big part of the culture.
Price of Adam's backing me up in the chat about how these, presumably in regards to the video being edited in that way, says, I'm terribly lazy, Nathan. Many are even worse. We need the interest before the discovery, if that makes sense. Well, yeah, that's how it was pitched. Exactly how that was pitched, actually, Adam. Which is to say, to get people's... to get... Before you sell some excitement to them, they need to experience and know that they're going to get that excitement for you to excite them or encourage them to be excited. You're like, really? Not, this could be exciting. I'll explore further. Oh, it was. No, people aren't like that anymore, it seems. No, I want to know this is going to be exciting. I want to know there's a fundy pummeled and shown in no uncertain terms Earth's measured flat. Oh, we do get there. And oh, watch then. Because I know that within the first 3 minutes. Because I've heard it happen. Yeah, I'll send everyone that way. NASA, no, Earth is flat. And moving forward into what are we in now? 2024. That's all I want to focus on. It worked beautifully with that neural surgeon. All my mind is wired to is how can I angle this to Earth being measured flat in every instance, and without really trying that hard. And before I'd had to make a claim about anything, he'd made the claims for me. So refracted curvature, shout out to you, happy Christmas, sir, if you're listening. They need a flat Earth more than we do. So when they're like, yeah, I can prove a globe, take a pen, write down what they say, and if you don't know already, backtrack it to its origins and you'll find a flat Earth. And you can just use that. So in that particular example, when it came to him saying, well, you claim flat Earth is... I stopped him in his tracks. I'm like, I haven't even made a claim yet. You've said boats go over a horizon, NASA, and Earth so biggy it's measured flatty. So without having to do much, because there was some work involved taking apart the claim that boats go over the horizon. Shout out to Quantum Eraser for the Black Swan, because that was obviously dispensed to great effect. But then in terms of the actual non-claim I'm not making, utilising his claim to prove Earth's flat, both of the other examples did exactly that. You know, boats going over the horizon, you could, and maybe I would if push came to shove, incorporate your own flat Earth proof in terms of establishing horizontal planes of reference with the horizon into an argument when someone says boats go over it. In that case, I didn't, because I'm waiting for that better example with the stars to take it to a direct connection on the basis of his claim, and it did work beautifully. You know, like I say, without having to claim anything, I've got him to prove a flat Earth twice with his own examples of what he thinks are globe proof. And I think there can't be any more effective way of educating the people who come to the show than showing how, if you're going to argue about a globe, take it straight to the flat Earth requirement that it's going to have every single time as quickly as possible. They're the ones postulating it.
But when you point out that they're supporting a flat Earth with a radius or a flat plane reference, and you show them how their proof is actually evidence of it being measured flat, I mean, the penny must drop.
I can't remember if it was Adam that was saying this, but if they're intelligent enough, they sense the end is nigh, and then they start rumpusing and causing distractions and trying to take the conversation away from their defeat before it's been pointed out to them and they've been invited to concede their defeat. Well, like I say, before they reach that point, they're going to start rumpusing because they know, they sense it. They don't want to have to face that, not without a lot of contemplation. And if you're not giving them the opportunity to go away, really mull it over, as you say, well, at that point they know, don't they? Well, no, they want to contemplate it for a significant period of time without you putting them on the spot going, so you understand it's measured flat by your own example then. They don't just want to say yes, even though it's by their own example. as is the case with this neurosurgeon, if he is. I don't even want to question whether or not he is. It's just not worth it. It doesn't matter if he is a liar in regards to being a neurosurgeon. It wouldn't shock me, given that he lied about seeing the moon, Buggy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter if he's a Nobel laureate in physics, does it? And it has an experiment to his name. It doesn't make him an authority on everything.
Exactly.
I had an interaction on 24/7. Did you see the clip I posted, or did you listen to it at all?
I haven't. I'm sorry. Tell us all about it. Do you want me to play it?
Well, no, it's quite long because I wanted to put it in context. So he was talking about lots of different things, and I tried to stop him, on a few things with an elevation angle, but there was a couple of others who then asked him to define what an angle was, and I was just trying to get to the elevation angle, and then they were going backwards. But at one point, you were saying that the old myth that things at different latitudes weigh differently. If that was the case, then there would be gold exchanges, wouldn't there? And I said to him, well, when you calibrate scales, at what point do you type in your latitude? And he said, well, you don't. So he conceded that point at least, although he wouldn't phrase it that way.
Just out of interest, what is a latitude?
Yeah, I did get into that, yeah.
Oh, you
Or at
did?
least I tried to. I was just like the other day, I was listening, and there was a few senior people in there, and this guy said, I'm in the military, and I know I communicate with satellites because I measured quite a steep angle, 30 degrees to a satellite I was communicating with when I was in the forces. And I wanted them to stop him there and ask him what type of angle and how did you measure it. But they just whistled past it and started talking about Operation Dominic and the Carmen line. I was just listening at this point just to see how the interactions go down. But as I say, there was an admin sitting in there, a senior or a moderator sitting in there, and the guy leading the conversation was Sheepdog Legend, if you can remember him, my previous interactions.
Is he the guy that you spoke about, yeah?
Who did my Flat Earth interview for 24/7.
Yes. Okay, yes, I do know what you mean.
So he was leading the conversation. He didn't stop him at the measurement of an elevation angle, which was disappointing.
Yeah, it was weird because Adam was being very bullshit, let's just say, on the last show that we did in the after show, and he's saying you need to be more aggressive. And it's like, no, you, the royal you, the public, and as a general sort of standpoint, we need to be a bit more aggressive in terms of taking people straight to the flat Earth elevation angle measurement described for latitude in this example. So what's that? Gold would weigh more or less, but there is no gold indicator. Meanwhile, the elevation angle measurement to Polaris off a flat plane gives us that system to make that claim. The system of latitude. It's being given in response, so it's not really that reasonable in that particular instance, at least, unless they bring it up. But yeah, the system of how we would potentially claim that it would weigh more or less requires a flat plane to measure, and so does the globe derivation from those flat maps over a celestial sphere, or flat map with a celestial sphere over it, I should say. So yeah, I want to be a bit more dogged in our determination to get that point across over the next year when people do come, and that guy was the starting point for that, and I was quite pleased with the outcome. Other than their lack
that
of
clip's out
humility.
now, isn't it? The one you recorded after Ballbusters, where we spoke about 24/7.
That's where Adam was specifically telling you that you need to be more aggressive, and I'm like, he's talking about how he's dealing with mods within a particular server that's flat Earth related. No, he doesn't need to be more aggressive. But Adam's sentiment is exactly my sentiment when I'm saying exactly that. It's just because it was directed at you specifically when you've got a particular administrative task that you're trying to fulfill currently. It's like, well, no, he's got to have a bit more diplomacy when he's talking to a specific server and their specific moderation team to ask for me on my behalf for a room in this particular instance with this example. So you go, do I want you to go in and go, oh, by the way, you're not using the elevator? Why didn't you? No. Yeah, we should maybe be doing that when you're talking to Joe Normie, but not when you specifically are trying to expand out my show through the means of other servers. You want them on side, right? yeah, we want them to.
Yeah, me and Matthew had a good conversation with Sheepdog the other day, didn't we, Matt? I just went over, gas behaviour with him and how gas cannot have weight. And if you're asking if gas can have weight, then you don't understand gas behaviour. And he wanted to say that in some circumstances it can have a little bit of weight, but so he conceded that he didn't know, which was a good result anyway.
Well, being in there as a show, that means that us as a panel are suddenly a bit more influential in that particular space, right? My point is that,
but apart from Chocolate and Elijah, none of us have really got many roles. So I guess we just need to build up more of a team over there
well, that's
to
what
be
I'm
putting the
saying.
measured flat Earth arguments over.
Well, we can pick up the team and drop it down on them because of the way I've got the show structured. That's why, again, this is great because it means it exemplifies what I was trying to explain to you about a year ago. I want to keep it all nice and separate. So in this instance, I can pick up half the show, that's G+, and dump it in Flat Earth 24/7 Discord at the showtime. So long as I've got somebody conscientious and a dab hand at discussing how that might be facilitated, i.e. you, Paul, that hasn't gone in and gone, you should be arguing this. It's like, no. If we can gain their allegiance to the point where we can come in and then lead by example at my usual showtime, because I happen to be in their server rather than science versus pseudoscience for an hour a day. For a week, it might be that it's only a day that's required, and suddenly we are so influential that we permeate through that server immediately. I doubt it, but you know what I'm getting at. It's not down to you, the diplomatic liaison, to be dogged in your insistence that mod should be arguing in a certain way. It's like, no, we're trying to gain friends and then influence them, and you're doing the gain friends bit while Adam's telling you need to be more aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people, moderators, gold pluses, and Indio, who's in the voice quite a lot, who understand the arguments inside out and could argue them the way we argue them, but they tend to let the silvers and the golds lead the conversation because they can't be in there all the time. So it's about how much time they've got. So if we could help them by adding some more stronger voices in there, then there'll hopefully always be one or two of us in there at any one time. Be the main goal.
Exactly, and it's comfy for my panel to go in there because they're just going to join my show. They're not going to care what's attached to my show, in this case, which Discord server, when we're just chatting and shooting the breeze. If there's suddenly a whole bunch of different faces interrupting their normal flow of discussion, that will shake things up, which is good. But it doesn't make it's no skin off the teeth of whoever's in my G+ panel at that particular moment. But then as individuals, ultimately they're like, well, it almost feels for them like they have been in that server talking to those people, because suddenly they're getting to know who they are, me included, because there's a show taking place that's attached to that server for a given period of time. So then you find Neil or Refracted Curvature mosey on to 24/7, and suddenly they're familiar with the people and voices that they're hearing, and that expands out that influence, where currently it's only Chocolate and QE that are really going through that server. I don't know it from Adam. Maybe I've been in before, I don't know. But yeah, it's a way to expand it. And why? What is the point of this? Just for the audience benefit, because we will round out shortly. Why are we doing this? Well, number one, there's always two hats that I'm going to be wearing when this is discussed. So get the YouTube hat out of the way first. It will be hopefully more financially beneficial to me to expand out the show, expand out the audience, and expand out the reach of the panel. So that seems obvious. But moreover, with a flat earther hat on, I want to drive forth into 2024, making the audience aware that Earth's demonstrably flat, utilised flat, built on flat, obviously and observably and measurably flat. And if they do understand that from the out, when they get here, then they'll be far better served in discussion when they move forward. If they're not constantly barraged with arguments that come from the feast of nonsense and feel obliged to learn those arguments, instead they have what we are trying to push throughout the next year, a notion that Earth is dealt with flat. You need some confidence in that fact, because it is. If you haven't got that yet, then you definitely shouldn't be talking to others about how Earth's flat because you just believe it's flat. Now, if you know it's flat, measured flat, dealt with flat, it would imply that you would know how. And that's something I want to offer to people and show them how effective that is. And that has been done already, which I'm glad to be saying before we actually move into 2024. So I can say to next man who's like, no, we need to get into the heliocentric arguments and really know them before we can undo some globe believers' fundamentalist religious belief and then move on to tell him how wonderful and wondrous the flat earth is. Like, well, okay, well, that's your bag and fine. But if you watch how it unfolds on the video that's coming out in about 5 minutes, which is called NASA Know It's Flat, you'll see how effective it is. Oh, well, NASA will tell me it's a ball. NASA are documented as showing how Earth is dealt with flat. As long as it's taken straight to that particular segue in argumentation, the audience member watching that will go, whoa, that guy just came out of the gate telling these flat earthers that they're basically stupid, and based on all of the science and education in the world, he knows it's a ball, and he's left stuttering and stammering and being called a liar because he made a claim that he'd seen the moon buggy on the moon with his own eyes, because it didn't have high value, it didn't have high stakes when he's talking to what he perceived to be a load of numpties about how obviously sphere-shaped it is, only to suddenly find himself inadvertently lying about seeing the moon buggy, which he has and nobody has. But they don't realise they haven't. They think they have when they're talking to perceived numpties in their mind's eye, leaving them stuttering and stammering and going, oh, well, yeah, I'll try to be better prepared when I come next time. Yeah. A couple of minutes and we are going to round out, guys, so I'll say another Merry Christmas to all of you who are in chat. Any closing words that you want to add before I do encourage everybody to go and watch the video that I'm posting in the live stream chat right now?
Yep. Merry Christmas, best wishes, and my prayers to 10th Man and his family. We hope everything's going okay.
Yeah, much love to everyone. Love your families. Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, same here. I hope you all have a really good Christmas. Steve, you got any Christmas wishes you want to give it, or Adam in the Discord server?
Merry Christmas is about it. Yeah. Happy New Year. Good luck with everybody.
And Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah. We'll be back with a proper, full-on flat Earth debate, probably in the next 2 or 3 days. But, yeah, it's been a nice impromptu live stream. So am I actually off mute? Yes, I am. With that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in live to this impromptu live stream, and a massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making this live stream possible at the spur of the moment. What else can I say? Just be sure to tune into NASA Know It's Flat, which is going to be starting on this channel in about the next 60 seconds. So by the time the outro has rolled through, you should have a link rolling by in the live stream, so you can actually go and link up with that video. I would normally encourage you to like, comment, share, and subscribe here, which I've inadvertently done by saying that. But be sure to like, comment, and share the video that is going to be published in the next 2 or 3 minutes, as that's far more dear to me than this live stream, which is basically just my fond way of saying a thank you to all of the viewers and saying a wonderful, happy, Merry Christmas to you one and all. So I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!